Hello, and welcome to the Cheap Seats. This show is the FPL show. So this is where Waheed is still trying to get away from the bottom. I think he's the middle now. Is going to let us know what he's going to do to get himself from. I'm assuming fantasy purgatory because it's probably the worst place to be. Back into some sort of relevance. And AB's going to tell us why he's getting rid of Cristiano this weekend. And Dean, since he's like the shining star of FPL this year, he's going to give us some nuggets around how Kane is the buy that you should get. This is the FPL show. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook. You can also follow us on YouTube and subscribe. We've got Cricket World Cup coming up. So it's a lot of things happening on the One World Sports Radio channel. Gents, I'm going to start with Waheed. How was your FPL week last week? Cristiano's only collecting twos now. So
yeah. So I ditched the 7.5 philosophy, and I got Ronaldo, Salah, and Lukaku all into the same side, and that worked. It has not yet worked. They've all performed at different times. I've never had one good game week where all of them smash it out the park. So yeah, I had Salah as my captain, which ditches my normal. So guys, one of my tactics to exit the FPL purgatory is to ditch my tactic of never picking a Liverpool player to start picking Salah because I was left behind.
yes.
So yeah, I captained Salah. It wasn't awful. I had 50 points or something like that. It wasn't great because Lukaku and Ronaldo doing nothing.
Yeah, you sound like me and Wayne Rooney all those years ago. I just never picked him, and I just kept on losing FPL seasons, but it is what it is. AB, how was your week? You seem to be climbing up slowly.
Yeah, no, look, I needed a good week, and I got a good week. Well, it wasn't like Dean good, but it was above average. I got like 65. 4 defenders somehow got me some points. Captained Mo. Yeah, strikers did absolutely nothing, but it was just one of those weeks. Yeah, Mason Greenwood, shining star of this United team. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, Mason Greenwood shooting on sight. Harry Kane scored this weekend. Dean, did you have him in your team?
I did not. It was in terms of this weekend FPL, it was very average. I think there was late news that Rudiger was out. Then Jimenez doesn't start, Rafinha doesn't start, Diaz doesn't start, Jota doesn't start. So it was a bit of a shambles. Managed to get through semi-unscathed, mainly because of Salah. But yeah, there's a lot of picks now going forward that I think the next 3 or 4 weeks probably going to determine what's going to happen in FPL, because if you played your wild card late, I think you're in a much better position than if you played your wild card early. So having those Chelsea, City assets, and then you can swap them to United, Spurs ones once that fixture swings at about Gameweek 13, 14. I think that's where it's going to be at. But yeah, we'll see. I think the big question this week is Lukaku, Kane, Vardy. So,
okay, we're going to talk strikers. We're going to talk all of that. But what we normally do on the show is we go through the guys' choices of transfers ins, outs, differentials and captains for the week. I'm going to start with myself this week so I can get myself out there because I'm not doing as well as the rest of you guys. So, yeah. I am captaining Mo Salah against Manchester United because it's always Captain Mo. My only change, obviously, is a striker. I'm taking Adam Armstrong out. I needed a striker around that 6.6 area, and Ivan Toney seemingly has good 8 games. He doesn't have a fixture difficulty rating of 4 in the next 8 games. So I thought, hey, he's only scored 2. He needs to get to about 10 goals a season or even 15. So this could be the period where he gets me to like 5 or 6. Or gets himself to 5 or 6. And then I went with my differential, Pontus Jansson. The reason why I love Pontus Jansson is that I always bench him. But then somehow somebody gets injured and then he comes in. And the reason why I bench him is because I've got David Raya and the Brentford goalkeeper as well. So I don't want to take a double clean sheet hit. However, he still finds a way to get me points. In the end, he's the 4th highest. He's the 5th highest defender from a points perspective. in FPL. He's owned by 9.8% of the people, and is also worth 4.7. So if you're looking for a cheap defender, he's the guy. Or you can go with Ethan Pinnock. He's just 1 point less. He's the right back of Brentford, or the left back of Brentford. Still pretty cool. And he's also held by less amount of people. Let's go with AB. With you decided to give me a double up transfer week. If this thing seemingly works, it does now. You went with your Manchester United slayers in Vardy and Tielemans, and you are selling Ronaldo. Why?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so look, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but United aren't doing really well. So there might be something on the Twitter sphere or on the interweb about it. Yeah, we're playing Liverpool. They might be doing quite well. So that was an easy choice. I'm not saying that Ronaldo is incapable of scoring, but United aren't going to go and score 4 goals against Liverpool or City or Spurs or Atalanta. Yeah, I mean, Atalanta, Champions League. Rafinha was an interesting one. So, like, yes, he was injured. Leeds just lost to Southampton. They're playing Wolves. Wolves had that dramatic comeback that no one watched because we were all watching Vardy and Tielemans do damage against United. So I think the tides are turning at Wolves. I think with Jimenez back soon, they're going to be very strong. And then, yeah, of course, Leeds have Norwich, but again, it's a while away, so I can always get Rafinha back in. So I don't fancy
a while away, as in next week, AB.
It's a while away. It's a whole week. I still have a transfer next week. Then we've got Christensen. So all of you had Rudiger because the man was 5 point something. I couldn't afford 5 point something because me and my budgeting. So I went cheap and I went Christensen last week and it turned out well. So he was my differential. And then I think Rom has to come good, guys. Rom has to come good against Norwich this week. If he can't score against Norwich, then people are going to be considering next week sell Rom, bring Kane in, that whole sort of thing.
I'm very worried with this Chelsea team without Kante. It seems like Rom needs Kante to score goals. It's just quite weird, but another story in another day. The land of the 7.5s, Waheed. Okay, not anymore. You've gone Son and Jimenez coming in. You're also selling Rom and the star boy Bukayo Saka. Can you give us a little bit of a flavor as to why you've decided to bring Jimenez in?
Yeah, so Wolves are starting to look a bit better, and their fixtures. I think they've got 6 decent fixtures in the next couple of weeks. So I thought that I needed to get rid of the quinoa eating Alexis Sanchez, and
wow, oh my God. This man was a Champions League.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't warrant the price point at the moment, does Ronaldo? He's just not doing enough. And like I'm not entirely certain about how we're gonna go. And honestly, it wouldn't completely surprise me for us to go Ronaldo-less against Liverpool. So I thought I needed to get rid of him. And then Son, I like the look of Spurs this weekend, and I know Kane is was the one that we're going to chat about. But actually, Son always loads the bullets. He's either loading bullets or he's scoring, and a lot of everything good at Spurs happens around Son. And when he's not crying, he's either scoring or assisting. So
I mean, that's not fair. I mean, I don't know where this crying story is. It's absolute nonsense.
So we just hope that his eyes stay dry and
the man just defeated COVID in like a day, and now you're saying he cries.
Wow, your son's a
it's probably one of his tactics, like cry it out. Get the virus out.
So, Dean, here's your.
We should try that at Man United. If we have a good cry, maybe we'll get the virus that is Paul Pogba as well.
So, Dean, you've gone Brentford this week. You're bringing in Buemo in. You've transferring out Jota. You're captaining Salah because, yes, every non-Manchester United fan probably will be captaining Salah this weekend. Your rationale by bringing in Mbeumo and dropping Jota?
So Jota. So we saw on the weekend Firmino is back, and he's back scoring hat-tricks. So I don't think Jota is going to be playing. We'll wait and see you never know what Klopp's going to do. But I don't think you can't afford to have someone in your FPL team if they're not going to start. So I think Shota is a massive. He was good while it lasted, but it's time to get rid of him. And Mbeumo is guaranteed to start. They don't have any European commitments, and Mbeumo and Tony against Chelsea looked really, really good. I think Brentford probably deserved something out of that game. Mendy just played insanely. So Mbeumo is obviously a cheaper option into that Brentford side at 5.5, and a lot of people don't own him still. And like you said, Brentford going quite a nice fixture right now. So I think Mbeumo is definitely an option to be looked at. I think the one thing that I will say is I've currently still got Ronaldo, and I've held off getting Lukaku, mainly just because of didn't really want to take a hit. But I think this week may be looking to take a hit to go Ronaldo to Lukaku or Ronaldo to Vardy. I'm going to lay off the Kane situation for the next 3 weeks just because Spurs have 3 tougher fixtures for the next 3 weeks, and then make a decision on Kane versus Son. But I think in terms of the striker options, I think a lot of FPL managers are sitting in one of two scenarios. They're either sitting in they went Lukaku, Ronaldo up front, which I think then you get rid of Ronaldo and you bring in a Vardy. I think then you have some sort of option to bring him in. But a lot of people only went with one of the two up front. And I think in that situation, I wouldn't be looking at a Vardy. I'd more be looking at Lukaku. And that's mainly because in the next 3, but I would hang off Kane, and I know it's weird, even though I'm a Spurs fan, hang off of him for the next 3 weeks because it's a little bit tougher fixtures. And if you look at Chelsea, I mean, they're playing Norwich, they're playing Newcastle, and I think it's Burnley or some other really low team.
And United, guys.
Yeah.
So such a tough game.
It works out quite well because what you could do is you could wait 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks, bring in Kane, and then that's quite close to January, and you could swap Kane out with Mbappe when he moves to Newcastle.
That too. Or you could do it like this. Arsenal still have the good run of games, even though they did draw with Crystal Palace. Bring in 9.9. Oh, but Aubameyang is a striker still in this league. Yeah.
Did you just say Arsenal?
Yes. Yes. We are 3 points behind the mighty Manchester United. So just calm down.
You spent
bring
more
in
than us.
You did actually.
You
Yeah,
spent
so bring
50
in-
million on Ben White. You spent a lot of money.
We know, we get it, and that's fine. And yeah, but you can bring in Alba. He's 9.9. He looked pretty good over the past couple of games. He scored, I think, in the last 8 games, he scored 6 times. So if you're looking for someone who can score and a focal point of a team that's going to be playing relegation, well, clubs in and around their area, then that's another option from 9.5. That was my one Arsenal punt. But so obviously you're saying wait three weeks for Harry Kane. If I'm in a situation where I'm willing to sell Cristiano and bring in a Jamie Vardy, I'll have a little bit of cash, about 2.5 to spend. Do I spend that on another striker like I upgrade? Because I've got Armstrong. Do I bring in like Wilson Antonio, so I go Lukaku, Vardy, and Antonio up front? Or do I go into the midfield and maybe try bring in a De Bruyne as a City asset?
I would look at, first of all, you need to look at Chelsea defenders, and you need to look at those wing backs. And so Chilwell, the only thing is rotation. So you've got James and Aspi on the right, and then you've got Alonso and Chilwell on the left, right? You don't know who he's going to play, and I don't think anyone can really guess who's going to play. It kind of depends. But the thing that interests me about Chilwell often hangs on those corners. He's often hanging back post, waiting for the rebound, and that's where he's like nailing a lot of goals, and that's where he's nailed a lot of goals in the past. So looking at one of those two wing backs from a Chelsea perspective, I would definitely be looking at. The thing with investing that money up front is there's not a lot of teams which have great fixtures going forward at the moment. So the two are probably Chelsea and City, of which you don't know who's going to play week in, week out. in that midfield or in those striker positions from a City or Chelsea.
Because
What about-
when he doesn't play on the wing back, he moves into
He moves back into the right side of the front.
back
three.
three.
Yeah.
So you don't completely lose out on Azpilicueta then.
Is this
But then he's
Azpilicueta?
6
Yeah.
point something.
Mm.
Yeah.
What about that Chelsea rotation with Chilwell and Alonso? Because I've been
Well,
burnt.
that's the
'Cause
risk. Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah, because
Very
I put
tough.
Alonso in, and somehow, would I obviously guys who are looking to spend in the defense because we've been chilling in the 4.5 because we have Ronaldo in there now. If we're selling him, do we go for a Robertson option? Because I think Trent's now way too expensive right now.
No, guys, I've been saying this for a long time. Trent
And
is
you've
the way
been
to
wrong,
go for
baby.
fullback. Okay? Trent is if there's one person you have to have in your FPL team, it's Trent.
Trent,
Because no one
Trent
listens
is
to the
a-
show.
Trent is a
No, but-
Trent is a buy and hold. It's like Bitcoin, buy and hold, and you just ride
Okay.
the waves.
Because I'm just holding. I chose to go with Cancelo to try and be more of a differential than you guys.
Guys, Trent is what Cristiano Ronaldo used to be when he was 14 mil back in the day.
I think the best defenders you can have is probably Trent. I would say Diaz, because he should be nailed on. He just didn't play this weekend, but whatever. And then I would say either like an Azpilicueta or a Chilwell, maybe, depending if James now starts coming. If you can have those three defenders, and then you
And
mix
Shane
and match,
Duffy.
and Livramento, because Livramento is
the guy is
greatest
the best.
FPL
No,
asset in the
Livramento.
world.
Nah.
I think you can then play around with that striker and midfield. But if you can nail those three, you're solid.
Okay, so it looks like I'm selling Cristiano and buying defenders this week. Guys, your captaincy picks for the week. I know Jamie Vardy's playing Brentford. Do you go for that? Or do you go Harry Kane against West Ham? Or do you try find a City asset like a Jesus, who's had a great start to the season at 8.8 against Brighton? Or do you try and see if Alan Maximan can do something against Crystal
Don't
Palace?
touch Newcastle players.
But he is the number 3
They
ranked
turned it on for 3 minutes
striker
against
from a
Spurs.
points perspective. He's that good. Like, he's up there. Top striker.
Who? Say Maximin.
Yes.
But now with
Like,
Wilson
you can't-
back, you saw on Sunday he doesn't get the ball where he needs to.
And Maximan reminds me of Nani. He's talented. but
Oh, okay. So
I would
know,
back so differential. I would go Rafinha versus Wolves. Reason why Wolves. So I know they came good on the weekend or whatever, but if you look at that Wolves on the left-hand side, they've got Marcel, and I've got Marcel in my team, but the man can't track back. He's all about banging up forward, and he just can't track back. So Rafinha playing on that right-hand side is going to find a lot of space in that Wolves defense, and he's the only person in Leeds that can really pull some strings and get some goals. So I think if you're looking for a very, very much differential captain pick, Rafinha could be it. But otherwise, maybe like Waheed's Jimenez against that Leeds defense is also looking kind of good.
Or Lukaku against Norwich.
That's going to be the
That's
template.
my captain pick.
That's template.
Or you can choose Danny Ings against Arsenal on a Friday night. I just don't like picking my captains early on a Friday night because your weekend just goes sour.
I have a wild triple captain differential. If people are out there and are just like looking for like something to burn,
Triple captain Edison.
Marcus Rashford
Against Liverpool.
against Liverpool.
think about it.
What
Think about
position are you in,
how
AB?
this man has put Liverpool to the sword.
This man loves scoring against Liverpool. I'm not saying United are going to win. I'm just saying Marcus Rashford loves scoring against Liverpool, especially at Old Trafford.
But even
That's
when
a
we
big
use
6
our triple
points.
captains, we use them on someone who's going to score more than 1 goal. So you're
He
telling me
scored
that
2. I was there. I was there when he scored 2 goals against Liverpool. I was there.
that
And
was
then
like
the next week,
2019.
the next 3 days, we lost to Villarreal.
Does Rashford now start?
Or
more
Valencia,
often?
one of
Do you
them.
guys reckon? Does
He has to.
Rashford
He
now
has
come
to.
into the team now?
For
Over
Sancho.
He's our best left winger. Yeah.
Sancho
No,
will bring-
Sancho's a right winger, but Sancho will be eased into the team. Now that
What do you
Rashford's
mean
back.
eased into the team? He's already in in the team.
Yeah, but he's only started
someone
2
out
games. He's only started 2 games and he's never finished a full 90. Sancho needs to be slowly.
Sancho
weaned
is
into
very
this
much
team.
like Havertz last season. He's being managed. It's difficult to come from the Bundesliga.
He has a German hangover. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
It's like going
it's a
from
real
Brendan
thing.
to St. John's.
Okay, cool. That is where we're going to
It's like
end.
going from St. John's to Reading. That's a whole different thing.
That's where we're going to end the show, guys. That's where it's going to end. But okay, thanks, gents. And remember, the deadline is Friday night because somehow someone decided to play Arsenal on a Monday and on a Friday. So Friday night is the
Sorry,
deadline.
what European games are you playing this week?
Why don't
Before weekends are for the boys, bro. Weekends are for the boys.
Okay, weekends are for golf. That's for me. But anyway, guys, have a great week ahead or FPL week. May your teams get as many points as possible and Cristiano start scoring goals against Liverpool, which is probably why I might keep him in there just in case something might go wrong. Outside of that, have a great weekend. Enjoy the FPL. Remember, it is Friday. And goodbye, good night, and the Sale.